It was the summer of 2019 and Gary Numan was doing a rehearsal show at the Home Firth Picturedrome, getting ready for the Blue Dot Festival he was going to do in the States. I was really fortunate enough to get one of these, a VIP pass for that particular event, and through a new contact that I got, a bit of cheek, I also managed to get that upgraded to a photo pass. Now, I was in the building way before Numan was, so just hanging around waiting for things to happen. The guys were just setting up all the instruments and things on the stage before sound checking. And there was a guy there carrying a carrier bag, and I ended up talking to this chap, and it turned out to be Joseph McCann, lifelong Numan fan. He used to run a Numan fanzine back in the day. He used to also run a Numan disco up in the northeast, where he's from, again back in the day, and has followed him for many, many years. Now, Gary Numan has threatened lots of times to write a novel, a sci-fi novel, and has been constantly, writing parts of it for these novels and stuff over the years, and found himself mining the novel ideas for lyrics for his songs. And this is where the Crazies, the McMahon, Replican, and all these sorts of characters, Liquid Engineers, this is where they come from, from ideas for his novel. Now, he's never written that before. Perhaps one day he will, maybe in retirement. And Joseph picked up on this and decided that he was going to have a go at writing that book. And so he did. So this is the Replican by Joseph McCann. When the Replican finds himself in the park, he doesn't know what he's doing outside. And he doesn't know who he is. What he does know is that he has to get away from the killing machines. As a mysterious man in a long coat, grey hat, smoking a cigarette pursues him across the city, the Replican searches for the truth as to who he is. As his memories start to return, he is left with decisions to make and with questions. If you were me, what would you do? Set in a new dystopian world where humans are hunted for food and now on the brink of extinction, the Replican is a dark tale of how far people will go to protect their futures. So that's the synopsis off the back of the book. And Joe was at the event to give Gary Numan the first copy of this off the presses as a gift. So we bought one off Joe and got Joe and Gary to sign that for us as well, making that a nice little keepsake, as it were. Now, let me show you this. So this is the original, and this is the new edition. Much, much bigger. So this is the new edition of the Replican, and this is what I wanted to talk to you about today. Now, the book itself, the original Replican book, it's dark, it's horrific in places, very descriptive. It's a sci-fi horror. The horror is horror, and as a sci-fi story, it really does work, and I really enjoyed reading the book. It was an excellent, excellent read. Now, as a Numan fan myself, reading the book and then coming across, as I just sort of read off the back of there then about the man in the long coat wearing the man in a long coat smoking a cigarette. There's lots and lots of Numan references, and some to the from lines from album tracks and stuff that have been woven into the story. So the story's not been written around the lyrics. The lyrics have been woven into his story, so it does stand as a fantastic sci-fi horror story in its own right. But if you're a Numan fan, it's incredibly better than that. It's even more special in that it's really satisfying when you come across, oh, look, there's one of Numan's lyrics right there. There's a line from such and such a song, oh, and that's from such and such album. And there's lots of those in the book. So it's a Gary Numan inspired story, bringing his characters to life and setting them in a dystopian world. And it's a fantastic read. Now, he's gone on to do other novels as well. And what's happened as far as the Replican's concerned, the Replican's been picked up by a production company. And this production company have pulled together a team, and they're now looking to get this onto TV, to turn Joe's novel into a TV series. Can you imagine a Gary Numan inspired TV series? Fantastic. And if you know Joe, he's a lovely, lovely guy. He's put his heart and soul into this, so he deserves it as well. Now, at this moment in time, the production company have been to Cannes Film Festival. There's been lots of new meetings taking place in LA, and they are at the stage now where the script, a draft script, has been written up. It's not the final version, but it's there. And their funding has been secured. So now it's looking to see which one of the networks, would be Netflix or Amazon or whoever that may be, will pick this up to go ahead and commission this now. And then it will start. And there's some fantastic names being bound around, which I've been sworn to secrecy about. What I can tell you about is Toya Wilcox to play one of the characters. There are other notable people from the music industry who've expressed an interest in playing particular parts. The one for Mr. Smith, who's the landlord at Zero Bars, would be incredible. Trust me. And I'm sure Joe will, he will say when it's okay for that sort of information to come out. But in the meantime, what Joe's done is decided to look at the script and to rewrite his first novel. He's done 5, so the first novel has been redone. So there's incredible, I think it's a third more pages in this novel now. And what he's done is the first one had bits where he felt he could improve on it. He could improve on the story. So the revised edition has got more action in there. It's more descriptive. There's a bit less author's voice in there. One criticism I had of the first book was because it's set around the park. The word park was used a lot. That's been taken out there. He's expanded on the characters. He's introduced a couple of new characters, and he's brought the original book in line with the script and produced a far more significant, in not just in volume but in quality book than the original that he'd made. And this obviously is what's doing the rounds now, going around to executives and all that sort of people to have a look at. And compare that with the script. And there are a few subtle changes in there. For example, he got the crazies in there, not deemed as politically correct to use the term crazies. So the name's been changed to the eaters. And there's a few subtle changes like that in the book to make it more TV friendly, if you like, but without watering down the story. In fact, if anything, is improved on the story quite dramatically. Now, this book is an excellent sci-fi read. Toya Wilcox has got a copy of this, and she was saying that it's a fantastic read. I'm telling you, this is a fantastic read. The first one was very, 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 very good. I think it's got something like 8 out of 10 in the review. This is a 10. This is the new edition, and this is a 10. Now, it's available from Waterstones. It's available on eBay if you type in the Replican new edition. It's also available from Joe himself, and it's a wonderful, wonderful read. Now, with the TV series coming, if you ask him nicely, Joe will send you a copy of this. All right? It's only £20, and sign it on. All right? Put that away. Appears on the television, and so it's a nice collector's item. If you're a Numan fan, it's an absolute must-read. Put it on your list of things to read on the beach this summer, because it is a really, really good book. It's dark, it's twisted, it's macabre in places, but it's very suspenseful. Each character is put in their little world and it's described within their little world. And then what happens is it skips to another character and brings them into the book, and then another one. And then the paths of these characters sort of merge and come together in a massive, massive climax, which is unexpected. I'm really, really good at working out plots of novels and things before they actually happen. I do it with TV series as well. Couldn't do it with this. Couldn't work out, and I had an idea where I thought this was going to go, and it didn't. It sort of went that way and then shot off in a different direction. It's beautifully written. It's very suspenseful. I found myself getting to the end of a chapter and going, right, I better put it down now. No, I'm going to read another one before I go to bed, and found it difficult to put down at times. Finding the Numan references was an absolute joy, which makes it worth the 20 quid on its own. And this is now available out there. I would suggest get one of these, read it over the summer, ask Joe to sign it for you, put it away, and then let's watch out for the TV series. If and when there is any new news about the TV series, I'll put it out and share it with you. But Replican, the Gary Numan inspired novel by Joseph McCann, new edition. Go out and get your copy now. It's a 10 out of 10 for me, and I really keeping fingers crossed and can't wait for the TV series. That's it for now. Speak to you all soon. Take care. Boo! If you made it this far into the video, big thumbs up and a very thank you. It's a little treat just for you, for those of you that have stuck around. In the review, I've mentioned the fact that Joe's done 5 novels, so just for a little bit of clarity on that. First of all, The Replican, the original version, 2018, I think. Followed by Numan becoming the Replican. This is actually a prequel to Replican, but it doesn't matter if you read this second. My favourite of all of Joe's books. This is my favourite. Followed by My Assassin, the follow-up to the Replican. Absolutely chock full of Numan lyrics featured and references for you to have a look for. Then came Twisted. Now this is a collection of short stories, is Twisted. I don't normally do short stories. I feel a little bit cheated by a short story, and I never got into like the Twilight Zone and things like that in the past. This, I read the whole thing, and it's really is good, and incredibly scary. And just find the little bit about paragraphs. I believe there's a paragraph in here. I think it's called Don't Read. Let me just have a quick look. Yeah, Don't Read. Paragraph in here called, a short story in here called Don't Read. Now, when Joe was putting together the ideas for this, he actually visited a real morgue to be among dead people, just to get him into that macabre sort of mood and feeling to set the tone for this book. You know, that's the sort of levels he went to, and it really shows in these short stories. You know, the cover is as scary as it comes, and the stories inside it are even more scary. So if you like sci-fi horror, this is the book. Full of Gary Numan references, as always, of course, and yeah, a great read. Now, a bit more about Twisted in just a second. And then the 5th book, obviously the Replican new edition, the one that's in line with the script for the proposed TV series. Now, each of the chapters in here has been written so that they could actually be an episode. So reading this, it's in line with the script, it's in line with what the TV series look like. So, you know, if that comes off, reading this is a great companion to that. On the subject of Twisted, there's an album of music coming out that's been inspired by Twisted. And it's due out in September, I think. For full details of that, pop over to Joe McCann or the Replican pages on Facebook, and he's doing the advertisements on there. You can actually hear 2 or 3 of the tracks. Now the tracks are all based on characters and scenes from in this book, and a very Gary Numan in style. So watch out for the album that's coming out in September for Twisted. On top of that, if we're going back to the Replican new edition just for a second. A bit of an update on there. Now, this is not new news, but it's something that I really ought to have mentioned in the video, and that's that Chris Payne, the one and only Chris Payne, has written the score, the music score for the TV series, and all that's been put together. On top of that is a little look at 2 or 3 of the characters. Now, all the concept of the characters and what the costumes will look like, etc., all that's been completed. Here's a little sneak peek of a couple of those for you, that you can see. So that's up to date with Twisted and the Replican. We've mentioned that Chris Payne's done the score for that. What else was there that I wanted to mention to you today? Ah, yes, the Replican, the novel. There's a guy called Daniel Jarvis. He's a voice-over actor, and he's brilliant. He really is good. Now, if you listen to the voices on some of the adverts that Joe's done for the Replican, you can hear Dan's voice because he voiced those. I was really impressed with him and got in touch with him. And back in 2020, I think it was, we put out our very, very first album, a concept album, a Savage Romance, called Angels and Demons. And 2 of those tracks were voiced by Dan for me. What If God Is Dead, and just like David Attenborough said, 2 tracks on there that he voiced over. Fantastic job. He's actually in the studio right now, voicing over the entire book, so that an audio edition of the Replica will be coming soon. So again, watch Joe's pages for that, because he'll advertise on there as soon as that becomes available. But yeah, what a fantastic idea for that. We're all up to date with everything. Thank you for watching the video. Please go out and check out the Replican, and come over to Savage Romance, our Facebook page, and keep in touch with us. We'd love to see us. We've got a new album of our own due out about October. Till then, you take care. Thanks a lot, and I promise you I'm really gone this time. Bye.